right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thank you, JT. Appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. All you have to do is call 412-575-2600. Let us know what you think about the events of this past weekend as we look ahead to the opening of the Pirates season, which is Thursday against the Mets. Bob Pompeani here. Andrew Fillipponi's up at 93.7 The Fan. And I want to start there. We're going to have our KDKA.com/Connect poll of the week, which is brought to you by Penn West University. And this one's going to be about the Pirates and whether or not you can vote. Will they end up in the postseason, yes or no? Andrew, I'm looking at about 85 wins, which seems logical. I mean, when you think of 82, that's barely over 500. I think they can manage that if all things go right. Your take on this division, where they could finish in it, and I know they have put money into this team. I would have liked to have seen more, but it seems to me like they are in a position really to go into the postseason. And when you do that with this pitching staff, who knows?
Yeah, well, I do think they're much improved. I think they're going to win more than the 78 games. That is obviously such a hot button number because that's where the odds makers put it, and we live in a state where you can bet on these things. And a lot of Pirates fans have, to the tune of it being the most bet on over in all of baseball. More people are betting the Pirates to exceed their win total than the Dodgers, for comparison, let's say. And I think they're going to be a better team. I think they're going to be a competitive team into August and September. I think, unlike years past, we'll be talking about the Pirates beyond the trade deadline and beyond Steelers training camp. But getting into the playoffs, I think, at this very second, I do have some questions about. I really don't, at this moment, think they're going to do it. I think they'll be close but not be able to do it. And that's because of a few things. Griffin starting in the minor leagues, I don't blame them for it. But without him, I think you still have an issue with Triolo at shortstop, Gonzalez at third, and you've got Henry Davis's bat at catcher. So that's 1/3 of your lineup. I think that's going to struggle at the outset of the season. I don't really know about the rotation beyond Skeens and Keller's. Keller's got to put together a full season of success. And then the guys behind him, Bob, Ashcraft, I thought, had great moments last year. Chandler wasn't bad when he got called up after a shaky minor league season, but those two guys are going to be really counted on to do a lot. And you've got Majinski now in the rotation. So that's my long way of saying I agree with where you pretty much put the number. I would say right now 84 and 78. And I don't think 84 wins in March, as I see it, is going to be enough to make the playoffs. I
do think they have a pretty good bullpen. They brought in Gregory Soto to go with Isaac Madsen and Dennis Santana at the end of it. Barco made the team. I was a little surprised by that, if not as a starter. And I also was a little bit surprised that both Billy Cook and Nick York made the team. I know those guys have had nice springs and everything. My money at the beginning of this was not on both of those guys making this roster.
Well, I think some of the guys who didn't, like Justinson Garcia, who had a fabulous spring, came over in the Johan Oviedo trade. I think they want to get him every day at bats. Really this is, again, a lot of moving parts here, Bob, but what probably would have been most beneficial for them would have been to move, let's say, a Brian Reynolds in a trade, get back a third baseman, have that guy take that spot, and then have Garcia or Mangum play the outfield. Because right now I think you've got two guys in Mangum and Garcia who are either everyday players or fringe everyday players, and they're not either here or they're not playing a lot because of the way that the Pirates assembled their team this offseason. I just didn't think that Jared Triolo, for as good as his defense is, I didn't anticipate him being a guy that was going to be an everyday player for the Pirates this year. And that's what Donnie Kelly said of Triolo when he was talking about the roster decisions yesterday afternoon.
We have a lot more to get into, including Andrew McCutchen, who's made the Rangers roster. We'll talk about that when we come back. We want your phone calls also at 412-575-2600. You're watching the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We're live every single night of the week. That's 7 nights on KDKA+, and most nights 93.7 The Fan. Call us next. All right, welcome back. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night, and it's about the highest paid wide receivers ever. And today, Jackson Smith and Jigma took that role away from Jamar Chase, you see $42.2 million. He signed a 4-year, $168 million deal with Seattle. He was the Offensive Player of the Year. He won a Super Bowl ring. Young guy, and he's going to get $120 guaranteed. So that's a lot of money. And these are the prices just a few years ago you would have thought were good for quarterbacks, and now the wide receivers are getting in on that. 412-575-2600. Pony, let's get right to the phone lines. We've got a lot of people on the line, beginning with our number one Cochrane Go One Better caller of the night. That'd be Jay in Pittsburgh. Jay, go right ahead.
Hey, how you doing, gentlemen?
Good, thanks.
All right. I have a quick comment about Connor Griffin. I think that the Pirates made the right move sending him down, and here's why. Remember when Bell came up and gave the Pirates that shot in the arm? I think he hit like 5 home runs in 5 games. Let's say that Connor goes down, gets himself right, comes up, gives him a shot in the arm when they're making a run, maybe around June or something.
Well,
I'd like to hear what you say.
What I would say is I want him to be here to start with. To me, this is a season in which they have extreme hopes to get into a playoff position. And I realize if you want to look at his spring and say, okay, he only hit this, but he had some power, whatever. I've seen enough to think that he could be an impact kind of player here in time. I also don't want them to waste April like they did last year. And as Andrew said earlier, the last 3 spots of the batting order, not going to produce much offense. You have a guy who can deliver speed, get on base potentially, steal bases. He can do a lot, and I think he's a better defensive option. So I understand why they do it too, Andrew, but my hope was that he would make it. And if it didn't work, send him down, then bring him back up again later.
Well, and if you look at what's being reported about his status with the Pirates, I mean, the contract extension still looks like it's a possibility. And if the contract extension happens, the belief among people in baseball is that he's going to basically get up here the next day. And he's going to
So are they using that as a negotiating ploy then? Is they're kind of dangling that thing out there saying, hey, you went up here now, sign this? It's going to take more than they're offering.
I would, well, I mean, I would not. See, I think the way he performed in spring training, he did not hit well against fastballs. That's got to be your bread and butter as a major league hitter. And it wasn't like he was facing, Paul Skeens in spring training. He was going mostly against guys that are like AAA caliber pitchers. The lack of at-bats in AAA, I think it's completely warranted for him to play at AAA to begin the year and to not play a half season there, but to get maybe a 20-game runway. And if he produces great in 20 games, we'll call him up. And that, to me, should be independent of the contract. Like, I'm trying to do what's in the best interest. I got to serve 2 people here. The Pirates got to win, but you also have to make sure that Connor Griffin gets the development that's needed for him to become a great player. And bypassing AAA, I'm not sure is the best move, Bob, especially with the way he performed in spring training this year. So even, my opinion, even if I gave him the contract, I still would like to see him get some reps at AAA before joining the Pirates.
All right. What if he doesn't hit well down there? You're just going to keep him down there all year then, and they struggle up here and they don't have.
Well, I don't know about all year. Look, if he's struggling at AAA, I mean, to me, that's on him, right? I mean, there's an argument. Well, does he pout down there? Does he get disenchanted? Does he get frustrated? Be a big leaguer. Be a professional. Okay, thrive at that level. It's not the major leagues. It's a rung down. If you're really the best prospect in baseball, do what Paul Skeens did 2 years ago. He went to AAA, he tore it up, and he was here quickly enough, Bob, to win Rookie of the Year. I see no reason why Connor Griffin can't do that this season.
All right, back to the lines we go. It's Chuck in Uniontown who always has a prediction before we go into the season. Chuck, what is yours today?
Yeah, well, first of all, I wonder if, to myself, did they bring the best 26 players north? Because I would have put Stinson and Mangum on the team and dropped York and Cook. Yeah. I think they would have been a better 26 overall. I think that the right thing was done with Griffin, but I think he might go along the same way as Skeens, that, about a month or so he'll be up there, because I think the Pirates handled Skeens correctly. But to me, 83 wins. I hope for the playoffs, but at this point, I'm on Pony's side. I just think they're going to fall a bit short. I hope for better. Yeah,
I agree with you, Chuck. I'd love to see. I don't agree that I think they're going to make the playoffs barely, but I want to see playoff baseball. And now this wild card situation has changed. It's not a one-game winner take all. It's best of 3, and you have a chance. Now, if you're a visiting team, you got to play all 3 away from PNC Park. Doesn't matter. If you have the kind of pitching that it would take, I think things can happen there that can help you. Andrew McCutchen made the roster for the Rangers with an OPS, I think was 1.361. He hit like 444. I'm not surprised, but he's also not their designated hitter because Jock Peterson has a role down there. Andrew, what do you think happens with him and how much does he play?
Good question. Jock Peterson was awful last year and it was not good this spring. So maybe there is an opportunity, even though one's a lefty and one's a righty, for him to steal more everyday at bats away from him. We'll have to see there. I do know that I thought when the Pirates moved on and went with Marcell Ozuna that Andrew McCutchen's baseball career might be over. And the Rangers gave him an opportunity. He had to prove it. Nothing was guaranteed to him. And he went out there and performed, and now he's got a job again in the majors. There's a lot of scenarios here that can play out this season that'll make the Pirates look good for some of the aggressive moves they made with the Lau trade and O'Hearn and Ozuna and those guys. But there's also some things that could blow up in their face. And Andrew McCutchen going to Texas and playing well, and Ozuna looking even worse than the guy who was not his normal self in Atlanta last year now that he's a year older. I mean, if that happens, then the Pirates are going to get slammed for it because they would have chased a legend out the door unceremoniously. Now, I happen to think it was the right decision. I would have done the same thing if I were them. But now Andrew McCutchen gets to write a final chapter in Texas. And it's possible with the way he's played his whole life that he does show people that he's not done, that he's not ready for retirement. And if the Pirates don't hit and some guys struggle, they might regret the decision to let him go away, Bob.
McCutchen is motivated, no doubt about that. Back to the lines we go. Jack in Beachview. Hello, Jack. What's up?
Hey, hi, Bob. First-time caller.
Appreciate it.
Love the show. Yeah, I was calling. I was with you, one of the few, all in on the Penguins at the beginning of the year, but I'm starting to get a little nervous now that Lizotte is going to be out for at least a month.
That's a big part of their line, no doubt.
Yeah. So I was just hoping maybe somebody had some answers that I can't.
Well, they're going to have to, Jack, they got a tough week this week. They started with Carolina, lost badly. Now they have Colorado, and that team is going to exact some revenge, at least you would think, the way they got handled by Pittsburgh out there. Ottawa won tonight in New York. Ottawa's are going to be a thorn in the side of a lot of people here. They limited the Rangers to an all-time low of 9 shots on goal at MSG. That ties their worst in franchise history. Ottawa plays their Thursday against the Penguins, and they come right back to Dallas. This week's going to be big, and how many teams are tied here, Andrew. It's unbelievable. I mean, within a point or two, 5 different teams. So it's going to go right down to the end. But the Penguins have 2 of the next 3 at home. They got to take advantage of that, even though they're against good teams.
Yeah, even with Sid and Gino coming back into the lineup, some things have popped up here. Goaltending has been very inconsistent. Both Skinner and Shelovs. The play in front of them has not been good. Penalty killing has been dreadful lately. Ryan Graves had to get back into the lineup yesterday, and he was terrible. And that's one bad contract that Kyle Dubas has not been able to rid himself of. And now you also have the question of Chris Letang now, what's going on with him. Dubas got a lot of credit, and he has all year, and it's all pretty much richly deserved. But I think he might have, Bob, gone one step too far with the Kulak trade to Colorado. He didn't need to do that. You've got Mantha here at the end of his contract anyways. It's not like the Penguins are trying to get – same thing with Stuart Skinner. It's not like every guy has term on their deal. And Kulak and Letang played well together. And he decided that it was more important to get a better contract in Girard, get a pick. And Letang's play has fallen off a cliff since then. And I'm not really sure what Girard brings to the table, Bob. He's not a physical player. He's a decent skater. I wouldn't say he's great. No one thinks he's Paul Coffey out there or anything like that. I'm not sure his game really complements Letang's in terms of styles. And, to me, that was a mistake. What was so great about Chinakhov is Chinakhov has brought out the best in Malkin. That trade has helped today and tomorrow. And I think that trade with Colorado might be one that this year, as they try to make the playoffs, they could very easily end up regretting that one, Bob.
I think the Penguins also need Ryan Shea back. He's been one of their better defensemen all year, and Jack St. Ivany. When those two are paired together, they're a very good twosome. And hopefully,
I like that, yeah.
I don't know how long it is for St. Ivany, but they got to get something going here. Let's go out to Joe in Verona. Hello, Joe. What's going on?
Hey, guys. I was talking about the Pirates.
I'm not. I don't like the roster. Triola shouldn't even be on the roster, and that's 8th or 9th inning defensive guy. And Davis can't hit, it seems. And Cruz batting first. That means he ain't going to have nobody on base with them guys. And the third, Malinsky, he's good for an inning or two. He should be reliever. Don Kelly, I think he listens to too much to Sherrington. And I'm not sure this is going to work. I'm just wondering what you guys think. Thank you.
Well, there are people out there who have that same opinion, like it's just not enough and they have too many moving parts here. We'll see. I'm hopeful that Cruz can put it all together. He's got so much talent. It's been very inconsistent. If he puts together the kind of year I think he's capable of having, I think that's a huge upgrade. And maybe with all these guys around him or new offensive weapons could help him.
It's a big vote of confidence to hit him leadoff. I think he's a free swinger. Now, he's a dangerous hitter, so that puts pressure on a pitcher right away, so that's good. But he also can be a guy that's an out a lot of the times because he strikes out so much. You put Lau behind him hitting second now, that gives him finally some good lineup protection. But, you know, if it were up to me, I think I would hit Horwitz first. Horwitz gets on base, he walks. He's not a big power hitter, but he gives you professional at-bats. And I think given how much you've amplified your lineup and boosted your lineup, I'd rather have him on base for the guys that follow than taking a shot with Cruz at the beginning of the lineup.
This is also why when Connor Griffin gets here, to me, he's my leadoff hitter. I'm going to get him on base the way he steals bases. Hopefully that'll be the case whenever that happens, and we'll see. But starting this Thursday, it's the Pirates and the Mets at Citi Field. Your Mets. They're going to be a pretty good team here, Andrew. Don't comment. We'll talk when we come back because I got to go to a break. But I think the Mets are going to make some noise in the East this year. We'll take a break, come back right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani and Drew Fillipponi back with you, and it's the Pirates and the Mets Thursday. You got Freddie Peralta, a really good pitcher. Had 17 wins last year against Paul Skeens, the reigning Cy Young. But this Mets team intrigues me. Bo Bichette they brought in, very good player, could be one of the best. Pair him with Francisco Lindor. You got Soto on that team. I think the interesting acquisition was Luis Robert Jr. That's somebody I thought the Pirates might be interested in. He's an up-and-down kind of player, but your thoughts about the Mets?
Well, they had a very active offseason, and they let Pete Alonso go to Baltimore, and Edwin Diaz now closing for the Dodgers, and somehow made enough moves to make their roster better, and they needed to with the way they fell apart last year, winning only 83 games with that huge payroll in Juan Soto's first year there. So I think the NL East will get 3 teams into the playoffs, Mets, Phillies, and Braves. And that's why for the Pirates, it's incumbent on them to finish no worse than second place in the NL Central, Bob. I don't think 3 teams get in from the division like last year.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. The Brewers, I don't know what they're going to be, but they always figure out a way, and the Reds have seemingly improved. The Cubs should be the team to beat in that division. Pony, thanks very much. We'll do it again tomorrow night.
Bye,
Look forward
Bob.
to it. All right, that's going to do it for Andrew Fillipponi. I'm Bob Pompeani. We always appreciate you watching us, and we'll do it again tomorrow night beginning at 10:35. Have a good night.